Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Laughing to the Void podcast with your host, Colin. That's me. How was your week? Okay. I was doing some pondering the other day, and a thought that came to mind was anyone with a one-syllable first and last name is destined for failure. I think it kind of comes down to your parents just not having a lot of faith in you, as well as not having faith in themselves. When you were born, your parents said, oh, this kid's not going to be successful anyway, so he doesn't really need good branding for his name. Any two-clap name pronunciation should be fine for this kid. John Smith. The first person that comes to mind when I think of someone with a one-syllable first and last name is some guy that got arrested for animal abuse. The other is a guy who went to jail for murder because he killed some guy over weed and then torched his car and then went into a gas station covered in blood and then he got caught. So the moral is don't name your kids anything with one syllable because they will be a failure, most likely. Is that too dark? Let's just go to the next topic and we can see. I've seen a lot of celebrities in the news for their use of Ozempic to get skinnier. And I was wondering what it would be like to take Ozempic as like a party drug. I imagine going to a party in LA, and in the main room they just have hundreds of hospital beds lined up with an IV drip of Ozempic for every attendee. You got Post Malone there. You got Elon there. You got the whole Kardashian clan there. And they're all just laid up in these hospital beds getting pumped with Ozempic, just vegetating. And they're slowly starting to look like one of those dried up corpses where it's like just the dry skin around the bone. Or like if you see like a squirrel that's been run over in your parking garage, and your leasing company hasn't taken the time to scoop it out and throw it in the garbage. It's like when there's one of those sitting in your apartment garage for many months. That's what they start to look like. The dried out squirrel corpse in your parking garage. And all the people with diabetes are just banging on the doors and windows trying to get in to get their Ozempic, but their arms are too weak because of their disease, so they aren't able to break the glass to get in. It also must be a challenge to kind of filter out the celebrities with diabetes. Like if Tom Hanks or Nick Jonas roll up to the function, you gotta lock the doors immediately to make sure they can't get in and get their Ozempic pump. Non-diabetics only. I wouldn't be surprised if in LA they make the people that aren't on Ozempic drink from different water fountains soon. I want to get rhinoplasty to widen my nostrils so I can breathe better. It would look like Chilean miners would want to fall into my nose. Like I would tilt my head up and you'd see a whole system of catacombs just running through my head. This is mainly because I have very bad allergies in the fall and spring months, so getting my nostrils widened would kind of take away that issue I have of breathing for half of the year. But that being said, I do have a very acute sense of smell. I think it was because I had a hydrocele when I was 15. My senses had to make up for it somehow. I may not be able to have kids, but if you walk in my general direction and the wind's blowing the right way, I'll be able to identify you. Like when I sit at Starbucks doing homework and I get a draft from across the room and I think, oh, Joanna must be working today. Anyway, I've been playing some video games recently. I've been pondering the idea of getting Hogwarts Legacy. My only problem with it is I don't think it's very realistic since none of the teachers get fired for saying a slur in the classes. Like, they never start reading Huck Finn in Dark Arts class, and the teacher starts by saying, it's in the text. And that's how the author would want me to read it. And all the kids are sitting there saying, weren't we supposed to do like Expelliarmus today? Then one of the students mentions it in an owl to their family, and their family immediately goes to the headmaster, and the headmaster then has to fire the dark arts teacher, and the whole staff has to take sensitivity training on the weekend. Now Hogwarts is just scrambling for a new dark arts teacher while trying to cover up from the wizard press, and it's not going very well. Everyone's stressed out. That's the real Hogwarts Legacy. Avalanche Software, sign me up as a consultant for Hogwarts Legacy 2. I'll make sure the next game has bi-weekly PTA meetings to make sure that the parent-teacher relationship is strong and healthy. I allow myself one day of the week where I don't have to floss my teeth. I usually just pick the day where I'm feeling the most naughty and say, I'm just going to let the plaque and tartar build up tonight, and I don't even care. Then the next day I get the pleasure of scraping off all the extra residue and think back and say, oh, I was such a naughty boy last night. I need to be punished. Then I make my gums bleed from flossing so vigorously. Not actually, it's mainly just when I've been drinking and don't want to take the extra 2 minutes to floss my teeth before going to bed. So I gotta get up early in the morning. So that's what I would like to imagine, I would say. I stopped taking creatine because my head looked like an egg in a Zoom meeting. I saw someone in the camera and I was like, damn, that person should really be fat shaming themselves. If you're into body positivity, that's great and all, but I personally just don't want my head to be shaped like a sphere. People say this and that about loving yourself and loving others around you. But personally, I'd rather have someone ask me how many packets of M&Ms I eat on a weekly basis, and then them suggest to me lower that number for a while. And lucky for me, I do have those people, so that's not a worry. And it does work. I think you'd be surprised about how far self-hatred can take you. I think the issue arises when you get to the goal of the body shape you were trying to meet and not wanting to stop after that, and that's when a lot of the issues arise. But I think that's a little bit too real of a truth for this podcast. So in short, I saw myself in the mirror and thought I looked like the Michelin Man, so I'm going to start body shaming myself and eating less M&Ms on the daily basis until I have a snatched figure, as they say. Also because half my pants don't fit and I'm too lazy to go buy new ones. I wonder if getting circumcised started off as a punishment for naughty children. Like when you get caught stealing from the local market and your parents have to sit you down and say, Billy, if you get caught one more time, we're going to take away your foreskin. Because if the guards catch you, it's going to be the whole shaft. Understand me? Do you understand me? Then the kid gets caught again, and their parent made a promise to themselves to follow through with more things in their life. So they just go down there and give homeboy the bowl cut. Then the kid gets pissed right after because they no longer have a foreskin. But after a few months, they realize it's great because they don't have to grate the cheese off in the bathroom every day. Then it becomes a fad for time saving so you can work more in capitalist Egypt. Like, cut off your foreskin and get to work 5 minutes earlier. Now it's time for the Explain That Snap segment, where I go through my saved Snapchats and explain them. So this first one is a picture of me, and it says, Academics is just a diabetic Tyler the Creator. If you don't know who Academics is, he's a new, I guess, like, reporter. He's like the Keemstar of, like, hip-hop, I guess. Like a kind of like a news guy on the internet. And he's just, like, very involved with the hip-hop community. And I think one day I just had an epiphany, like, if Tyler the Creator was diabetic and gained, like, 50 pounds, then he would look like Academics. I wonder if Academics actually has diabetes. Let me look that up. Does Academics have diabetes? Academics does not have diabetes. Okay, so we're in the clear with that one. Yeah, moving on to the next one. It's a picture of me hunched over, and It's a picture of me hunched over on all fours, and I'm looking at the camera, and it says, superlative for worst scoliosis. Yeah, so this was during high school when all the seniors were doing their superlative voting. And I think at that point I was wondering whether I would get any superlatives, so I pitched this idea on my story for superlative for worst scoliosis. I don't remember if I won that though. I'll have to go back and check my yearbook next time I go to my parents' house. Alright, so now everyone's favorite segment, the Would You Rather segment. Alright, let's just get straight into it. Would you rather swallow a live sea cucumber whole, given it's a fully grown giant California sea cucumber, so about 20 inches long and 2 inches in girth? It basically looks like a slug, but with red spikes on it. You cannot chew. You must slide it down your throat whole. And it's up to you whether you go head or tail first. So tail first, it could try to crawl out, but if it was head first, it might make a ruckus in your stomach, just kind of digging around and trying to navigate your insides. If it tries to crawl out, you must keep it down, but if it gets back out of your mouth, you must re-swallow it until it goes down and you can hold it down. You're locked in your place of residence until it passes through your body, dead or alive. And during the process, the only food you're allowed to eat or drink is whole wheat brownberry bread and Minute Maid lemonade. Or be locked standing up in a dark room for 1 week on an IV drip of Ozempic. You're chained to the wall naked and you have no sense of where you are. It reeks of sewer water and hefty amounts of Axe Apollo deodorant spray. You have no sense of time and are fed sporadically throughout the week. And you can assume it's not enough to quench your hunger, but enough to survive. When you're fed, it's by hand of a chimpanzee. 50% of the time you are fed, a large strobe light flashes in your eyes, disorienting you and sending you into a state of panic. You must urinate and defecate on the wall that you are standing on. There will be no cleanup during the time you are there. And it sounds like you're in a cavernous stone area by the sounds of water dripping, echoes, and creatures scurrying around you. Once it is time for your release, you are tranquilized and dropped off naked in the nearest CVS to your house, and it's up to you to get home. So for me, I don't like cucumbers, let alone sea cucumbers. Just standing up in a dark room for several days, I think that would build some character. I think the only thing that would irk me about that situation is being fed by a chimpanzee and not being able to see them. I do think it would be nice, though, to kind of have a sensory deprivation week where I just take time and disconnect from the world. I think that would do some good on my conscience. Yeah, I don't think, because I've gone to the bathroom in a forest before, and in some pretty disgusting bathrooms, so I don't really think that part would irk me too much. I guess the chafing and stuff because you haven't cleaned yourself, that would be gross, but I think the benefits outweigh the positives outweigh the negatives in this scenario for me. Just to have the mental disconnect. So I think I'm going to take that over swallowing the live sea cucumber. And now for our final segment, TikTok of the Week, where I show you a TikTok. And then I say some words. Here's the first one. If you're a student, you can probably relate to this. My thoughts exactly when making a discussion post and replying to 2 others. Am I right? I think all students can relate to that one, which I think is the appeal. I hate writing discussion posts or hated writing discussion posts. And pretty much everyone does because no one wants to participate in that sort of activity. All right, this is the next one. I will say, those might be the most vascular feet I've ever seen in my life. I feel like I have very vascular feet, And I've seen people with very vascular feet, but those are on a different level. Like, I'm going to start getting my toe curls in when I go to the gym, just so I can have feet like his. I'm trying to be the Ronnie Coleman of feet. And yeah, that's about it for this week. I posted a new video. I believe it's called like Sociopath Day in a Life or Day in a Life. It's on YouTube if you want to go take a look. Yeah, it'll be linked at the end of this video. I also posted on TikTok. If you're not following me there, go follow me there. Also subscribe and like and all that stuff that you know what to do. So yeah, I appreciate you watching if you made it this far, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Boy, you disgusting. Why is your bitch so ugly? My bitch so perfect, she kinda look Asian. Come all the way from Toronto. All she do is sucky. My stomach problem from all of this money. No money problems cause I'm getting money. This shit is crazy, it just started for me. I was just home, broke doing the dirty. Pinky ring water flooded, wrist got cold, yellow diamond running. Grab a tissue if it is an issue. Used to grab a pistol. No, I didn't for them itty bitty niggas. I'm from the city with real killers. Nigga Gilly said you gon' win now, Uzi counting all these major figures. Getting money got a major hitter, but I ain't talking Barry Bonds. When I was younger, wanted to carry Hilson. Nigga like Dennis the Menace, now my money all like Mr. Wilson. Still missing who your directors be missing. I fuck with him, boy, I'm trying to be a hitman. Taking your ass straight out of existence. Where's your hitman? The other man got him. Shout out Jody Flacco, fuck with your album.
Great job, guys. Really excellent job.